Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi guys, Daniel O'Connor here. This is the Warpit webinar, so if you're here for Warpit, you're in the right place. I have Hayley and Rob in the room at the moment. Hayley, I can see that you do not have, you've come in on your phone, I can see that. Rob, I can see you're in on your phone. You can see on the you can see on your control panel there, there's a hand icon and there's a question mark icon. If you can hear me, click the hand icon, please. Excellent, you can both hear me. Right, great. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually unmute you so we can actually talk three ways, actually. So you should get some sort of message about being able to talk into your phone. So, hello, Rob.
Hold on, Rob's just away from his desk.
So who's
Here we
that?
go, he's back.
Hi Daniel, you alright?
Yes, how are you?
Good, thank you, yeah.
Excellent, so this works, great. Are you in an open plan office? Can you not talk very much?
We're in an open plan office, but we can talk. There might be some background noise though.
No worries. And Hayley, is Hayley with you, or who's that with you?
Yes, Hayley.
All right, great. So we've got you both there. Is there anybody else joining us today?
Yeah, Chris is joining as well. Chris McNamara is just logging in, I think.
Okay, good. So how's things over there today?
Alright, yeah.
Excellent.
Alright.
Is the sun shining?
Yep.
Is it
Yeah, nice and warm.
Awesome. Great. So what I'm going to do today is I am going to give you like an orientation of what this is all about.
Okay.
So that by the end of the session, you'll kind of a good, clear way forward about how you want to implement this program. And I'm going to record the session as well because David Downs has said, could I record this session for him as well? You okay?
Yeah, we've just got a couple of people with login issues trying to get on. What's it saying? Downloading software or something? Right.
And so the only thing I can do is I can't put mine on speakerphone. But then we'll have all the background noise. Chris is just dialing in now.
I can see Chris is coming into the room. Yeah, I get like I can see a picture of him coming in. That's I can recognise that sound in the background as well.
We're all sat in the same corner of the office.
All right, great.
It's a bit strange because I can hear what Rob says and then I hear it down the phone afterwards.
Yeah. What in particular are you guys looking out for today? Just so I know I can make sure I deal with what you need.
Yeah, we've not seen it before, so we just need to know how to use it, really.
Okay.
Yeah, we've bought the system. We just need to know how to set it up.
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll give you like an overview, and then we'll go into a bit of detail. Should be about 30-40 minutes. Chris, I've unmuted you, so you should be able to talk into your phone.
Yeah, I think Chris is only going to be able to hear what you're saying. He can't speak, so we'll have to pass messages on through.
Oh. Okay, so Chris, are you ready? Is everybody ready?
Yep.
Yeah, we're all ready.
Awesome. So, what I'll do is, I'll give you like an overview of the system, like a basic overview, and then we'll go into a bit of detail about how it works and the different settings and that sort of thing. But what I'd like to point out first of all is that you guys have unlimited office hours support to get this up and running. And what that usually takes the form is of quick catch-ups like this on the phone. And the frequency of that can be as much as you like. It can be like weekly, it can even be daily if you want. But it usually settles down at about like a bi-monthly catch-up for the first few months while we get you set up and running. And then that frequency at your convenience can be decreased, to monthly or quarterly or whatever you might want to do. And we've got like this action plan that we work through on each of those calls. So, for example, this is your first action, pre-set up, attend an orientation session, and you've obviously booked your slot already, And what we do on these calls is we just work through this action plan for different actions, yeah. So the reason why I'll sort of point this out to start with is just so that you've got an idea of what needs to be done. And after this call, I'll send you an email, and it'll have this action plan on it. And after every call that we do, I'll then send you a follow-up email with different resources that you're going to need. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Great. Who will be leading on the program?
Chris will be at the beginning. Yeah. Then it'll be delegated out once it's up and running a bit more.
Okay, cool. That's great. That's good to know. Right then, so let's give you the overview. So get this set up. So we're in a stage now where you've commissioned our services, and this is what we want to try and avoid with this service. Another thing which often happens is one department's throwing some assets out in the same building, another department's actually buying the same assets. I don't know whether that happens in your organisation or not, but it definitely does in some of our bigger customers. And the reason why this happens is, there's no real communication on service assets because everyone's in silos and they're too busy, and no one really sort of talks to each other. So what we've built here is we've got this online platform where everyone who is looking to buy new, they can go to this platform first, and they can do a search, and they can see what else is available across the estate. Yeah. So in its simplest terms, what this system will do for you guys is it gives your staff one place to go online where they can check if anybody else already has the asset they're about to buy new.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't like a new concept. Noel Edmonds' Swap Shop was in the TV in the 1970s, 1980s TV. You know, people are used to free cycle. People are used to eBay. So this isn't like some sort of mad concept. You know, it's embedded in everybody's sort of behaviour already. It's just we're bringing this to the NHS. We're bringing this to the public sector. You know. So when you do a search for an asset, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to jump straight into the software rather than boring you with a PowerPoint. I'm going to go a little bit off piste here. So I'm going to log into my demo account, okay, and this is what your staff will experience. I mean, I'll tell you what I'll show you first is you have your own portal address already, okay. So everyone, all our customers, get their own portal address. So I've just shown you another customer as an example because yours isn't sort of populated yet, if you like. So you get your own portal, you stick your own logos on it, and this can live on your intranet site, okay? And what you want to do is you also want to be telling your staff about where to sign up. Now, we'll talk about how you want to roll this out as we go through this. But you know, long term, I mean, short term, you probably want to do a lot of control around who gets access. But long term, once you sort of see the control measures, you might want to relinquish that control a little bit. But anyway, you get your own unique portal, okay, which you sent your details about already. And at that portal, staff can sign up to join the system. And when they sign up, you know, they put in their office address and all that sort of thing. And once they've done that, the person who we have as the administrator for your portal will get an email and it'll say, you know, Daniel wants to join. Do you want to let them? And they get approved, right? So that's the first thing. So you have this online with your logos on, and it can live on the intranet site, or you can just send this link out as an email as well. Once your staff member gets approved, they can then get access. And they get access, and straight away when they get access, you know, they're going to be looking for assets. So they can search by category, or they can search by freehand, yeah. So I'm just pretending I'm looking for a chair today. Let's pretend I'm going to buy 5 operators chairs. So I've just done a search for chairs, and this will now show me where chairs are available around the estate. Yeah. So this might be stuff that's in storage, or stuff that's squirreled away, you know, in the FM department or whatever it might be. Or it might even just be stuff that's out across the estate. So if I see a chair I like and click in, and I can claim chairs. So remember, this is just my demo account, you know. So it has all the various different information. It's available. I can choose a quantity, you know. Let's say I want 20 of them. Hit claim now. And what happens now is, you know, the owner of those chairs gets a message. The new owner gets a message. And if you want, you know, you can actually set it up so the system can send a message to logistics as well to do the transfer. Now, as I'm talking, you might be thinking of things like, oh, that's not going to work in our estate, or we need to think about this, or we need to think about that. Now, so that's fine. There's a lot of little like sort of micro issues and major issues that you need to sort out. But what I'll do as I go through this, I'll explain how you can just sort out transport, liability, standards of assets, and all that sort of thing. But is there any questions so far?
No. No, we haven't got any questions. Great.
So the next bit I'd like to show you, that's how you sort of search for items. So for me, right, I'm like a kind of a waste guy. I developed this out of a need to divert waste, but actually this is just as much, probably even more, a procurement tool, because with this tool, you can stop your staff buying stuff you've already got. And so in that respect, it's more of a sustainable procurement tool, really. Now, when staff do a search for chairs, they can see all the chairs and they can obviously claim chairs secondhand. But what you can also do is, and if you have this control, I'm not sure, you can actually when you get requisitions coming into procurement, you can actually go, well, hold on a second, this person wants to buy 20 chairs. You can actually say, the person will look, there's 20 chairs on the system. Why don't you claim them off the system rather than doing this purchase requisition? So you can start to actually influence the purchase and behaviour of your staff as well.
Yeah.
So that's how to claim assets. Pretty straightforward. I'll show you how to add assets next. So to add an item, I'm logged in as a standard user, and I'm just gonna, I'll just pretend that I'm working in your organisation. Let's just say I'm a clinician or something like that, and I want to get rid of some beds. That's my title of the record. If I put in the word bed there, it'll try and guess what sort of bed I want to get rid of. Let's say it's overbed table. Because they're quite a popular item, actually. I want to give it away. Let's just say I'm clearing awards, so I might have 30 of them. Dimensions, whatever it might be. Condition, let's say that it's in good condition. All 30 are in good condition. They're located on ward XYZ. They're available from today. And actually, I can keep them in my possession for a good couple of months, so I can make the deadline the end of November. If I've got photos of them, I can upload an image from I can upload a photo from the hard drive. However, what we know in the NHS is it's hard for you guys to actually take photos and upload them to your hard drive. So we've actually got a photo library as well. And this will now search our library for overbed tables. So has the site been badly decontaminated? Let's say it has. These overbeds are almost new. We had to shrink the ward, let's say. But you put anything you want in there, I have a photo of this item, add the item. So now, when I search overbed, if I was looking for some overbed tables, or even if I was just looking for tables, it would bring it up. So these are now on your system. And then, if you've got someone in your organisation who's buying overbed tables today, you can see them there, So they're ready to go. And what's really good about this as well is there's a thing called wish lists. And I can add overbed tables I can add anything to my wish list, right? If I'm going to be buying something in the next few weeks, I can add overbed table to my wish list, right? Let's just say I want 10 of them, and I want in the next month. Add that to my wish list. And what that means is if anybody adds overbed tables, I'll now get an email straight away. So what that does is there's a couple of benefits. It matches up the disposer with the recipient directly, and that's good because the disposer often wants rid of the thing straight away. So if it finds new homes straight away, that's a good thing because the disposer will keep coming back and using the system. The second good thing is the recipient doesn't have to keep logging into Warbit. They just get a notification saying there's some overbed tables available. And the third good thing is that asset gets a match while it's still in its old point of use, which means it moves from A to B, not A to store to B. There's no need for storage in that middle bit. Does all that make sense so far?
Yep,
Yeah.
looks good so far.
Brilliant. So that's kind of my overview. That's the very sort of crux of the system. That's the basics, if you like. And So what I do now is I would just generally head into a bit more detail about how to run the system and what you need to do to kind of roll it out. So I explained that you get your own portal address. Now, I'm just trying to guess yours because it has been sent out. I'm pretty sure this might be it. If not, I think Chris. Oh, excellent. So this is your portal address. Warwick / St Helens and Knowsley Hospital NHS Trust. So this link is where your staff will register. Okay. And obviously, you haven't started yet, so you haven't got your logo there. You haven't got the your savings set up yet. You've got your contact number on there, great. And so staff will come to this homepage and they'll start to register. And when they register, I'll just see, Chris, we've got you set up as the admin, is that right?
Yeah, it's not an issue that I can pick up my phone here and I can talk. It's not an issue. Can we amend that though?
Yes, you can amend it, and I'll show you how we can amend that. But at the minute, your staff, when they go to register, they're going to see your telephone line and they're going to get your details. So you just need to be aware that when you go to your full launch, you might want to have maybe an admin address here or something like that, So that's how you sign up. And what I would say for you guys is after this session, I'm going to send you an email, and your first activity really is going to be to just register yourself as a standard user. That's going to be your first activity. Just so you can understand what your staff are going to go through.
Just a quick one, sorry, Daniel. Have I got details to log in as an admin, or do I need to register as a user first?
No, you've had details of the admin sent to you already, and I can resend them if you want.
Yeah, please, thank you.
Yeah, cool. And it's worth mentioning there's two different IDs on the system. There's the administrator who is responsible for setting up the program and approving staff members. We call that the admin. And then on the other side of the coin, you've got like standard users. And the standard users, they register themselves, then they start adding assets, claiming assets, adding things to their wish lists. So let's I'm going to log in as an admin now. And I'm going to show you what the admin view is like. Okay, no worries. Thanks for looking for. So I've shown you how, I've taught you about your unique domain. I've taught you about how staff register themselves. When staff register themselves, Chris, or whoever's logging in as the admin, you will see a list of staff members here who are waiting to be approved. And then you can just click this button to approve them or reject them, one or the other. With this system, obviously, you're gonna want some level of control over what's going on. And what I always advise is that when you start off, right, for these first tasks, right, this is all of this is just these tasks isn't within a closed system. So you're only really going to have like what we call your stakeholder group having access to the program to start with. And the idea of that is so that you can do a mini pilot with what we call your stakeholder group or your implementation team, right? And that's all about testing out the system and tweaking the controls so it matches what sort of level of control you need for your program. And it might be that, you do your mini pilot and you don't actually, when you go to release it to your staff body, you might just release it in increments. You might give it to the procurers first, test that out. You might give it to the FM guys next, test it out with them. And if you want, you can do a real incremental rollout rather than going like massive first off, So why I kind of highlight that is just so that you know that you have this control so that you can incrementally roll this system out rather than, I mean, you might want to go big, next Friday, just give it a massive launch, and that's fine. But you can also do it incrementally.
Okay, can you have more than one admin?
You can share the admin, but what I'd say about the admin is,
That's fine, thank you.
yeah, you're gonna have some quite critical settings here, which can carry some liability. So you kind of want to restrict that admin access to just a few key members. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's probably worth showing you a few settings here, just so you can understand what I'm talking about from the sort of liability side of things. We'll go into much more depth on these settings in our next call. But just to give you a little bit of an overview, you can control these different aspects of the system. So I'll just click on the control users, and one of the settings within this part of the system is you can control what internal staff get to view and claim. So at the minute, within my demo account, my members can only view internal within their own organisation. Yeah, and I would probably, for when you introduce this into your organisation, I'd probably adopt the same setting, because on the system, as well as being able to search internally, your staff, if you set it up in the right way, can actually they can actually search right across the region and right across the UK as well. And I'll just give you an example of that. So this is completely at random. I don't know who this is going to be, but you can search beyond the boundaries of your organisation if you wish. So here you go, Sheffield Health and Social Care Trust. There's a drug trolley there. There's one available. So I can actually claim that if I log in and get and claim it. So the reason why I'm showing you that is just so that's one important setting which you'll want to kind of consider before it goes live to everybody. And on the flip side of that, you probably want to stop, at least when you first launch, you probably want to stop other parties looking at your assets. So you want to stop other institutions looking at your assets. And we'll cover this in further calls, but just to give you some idea, we call internal staff, we call them priority one. We call your friends on the system, so other NHS trusts in the area, of which there's quite a lot in the Northwest. We call them priority two. And then priority three is anybody else on Warbit. Now, so what happens with the system is, if you add 20 chairs, they're advertised internally first, and then X days before the deadline, they can be advertised to third parties. So if I save these changes, what will happen with my system now, my demo account, is if I add 20 chairs, they'll be advertised internally first, and then 15 days before the deadline, they're advertised out to other NHS, and 5 days before the deadline, they're advertised out to other parties on the system. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
But, to start with, you really want to make your network private, because you don't want to have to deal with the extra complication of donating assets to third parties just yet. So you make your network private by putting in what we call a storage email here, and I'll add this into the email that we send after this session, just so you can log in and have a little play around. So those are the settings. What I would say is, after this session, I'm going to send you an email, and I would go through these settings in your own time, just have a play around to see what's possible. And the first thing you probably want to look into is edit profile. And in edit profile, you will see that Chris will have your details as the administrator. So you want to consider who's going to be the main point of contact. And it might be that you just put a joint mailbox, like you might have a warpit@sthk.nhs.uk, something like that. You can add your logos. You can also add the people who are in your implementation team. So that might be procurement representatives, facilities representatives, capital development, finance, that sort of thing. And what this is all about is these people who you specify in this area, they get a monthly report about your reuse performance. So the reports, I'll try and pull one up. I'm not sure if I've got one actually. But basically the reports, they kind of give a really good insight into how your system's working. So your monthly savings versus your monthly investment, how much carbon, how much waste, how much you're giving to charity, all that sort of stuff. They get a monthly report. They find that really useful. So is that okay about settings?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
What I'll do is after this session, I'll send you a guide and you can go through this in your own time. The next bit, which is worth talking about, is called customize messages. And again, we are within the admin area, and the admin can customize the messages that the system sends. Now, if I go to my inbox now, you'll see, right? Because I've done a few little trades just in the time we've been talking. You can see there's a claim confirmation. Lovely chairs. So, hi Daniel, I can confirm your claim has been successful. Blah de blah de blah. Yeah, that's all that sort of detail. But you can actually, as the administrator, you can actually edit this content so that it reflects how you want to move things around the estate. So let me show you that in real life. So within customized messages, the claim confirmation, which is this, claim confirmation. Just ignore this. This is my spam filters. It fires me spam filters for some reason. So we've got here, hi Daniel, I can confirm your claim has been successful. Item details, which is all of that. This bit in the @ sign, that means it's pulling a value from our database. Please get in touch with the contributor to arrange collection. And then look, you can actually put your collection details in this bit here. And this might be, please contact the help desk on 0191XXX, whatever it might be. Or it might be, please fill in a portal request form. Or it might even be, sit tight. The portal has received a notification to move this asset from A to B. So you need to kind of discuss with your stakeholders who are involved with all of this logistics, that sort of thing, how you want that to look. Now, I'm going to show you some other emails I received as well. So remember, I did a few claims. So for these chairs, I've also received an email because I was the owner of these chairs. So hi admin, Daniel O'Connor's keep your item, blah, blah, blah. You can like edit that message as well. But this is the important one. There's also a transport request. So you can fix it so that this transport request goes to your logistics people if you want. And your logistics people can also download a spreadsheet of all the transactions that took place that week. And then they can do a round robin pick up and drop off of all the surplus items that week, Now, we can go into that in a bit more detail at a later date when you're ready to launch. But just so that you know, there's a few ways of doing it. You can put the burden of sorting out the collection on the new owner, or you can actually just say to logistics people, look, here's a list of items that need to be picked up and collected and dropped off, and they can work through it like that. So that's your customized messages. As well, I would actually go through these as well in your own time and just go through them and work out what you want them to say. Now, I'm aware that I'm giving you lots of information here, and we're just getting towards the end of this session because I know there's loads to take in, but just to bring you back to this action plan, everything we've just spoken about is within this action plan. So, for example, add yourself as a standard user, set up your controls in settings, customize the messages, yeah. And what you'll notice is, on each of these activities, there's usually a supporting document. Like, you guys, I know, have already had lots of internal discussion around this. So, action point 2, get buy-in, stakeholder meeting. This guide then tells you how to host a stakeholder meeting stroke implementation team meeting, So you go through it step by step. And what I say at this point usually is, remember, this is all still an internal system here. You haven't launched it. It's all within your stakeholder group. And this mini pilot at this point here, this is where you iron out all your kinks. You iron out all the kinks in the system. So the mini pilot, it's all about getting your immediate stakeholders onto the system, adding some phantom items and doing some claims and making sure it's all right before you go to launch it to your staff community.
Daniel, just on this, I noticed on the email it did say that we could access this template. I tried to do it before and I couldn't find the download link. Will you be able to email this as well, if possible, please?
Yeah. So from that action plan, it'll launch into the different resource areas that we have. And what I would say as well is, if you ever find yourself creating any content or communications about this, and we haven't got the templates already written, give us an email and we'll do the template for you as well. So we'll put it in our template library, And what you'll notice here is, there's emails to announce your launch. There's an email you can send to IT about IT security, emails to all departments or staff, and all these different random things that you can get all the email templates, So that's kind of it. I've given you the overview where I talked about how staff sign up, how staff claim items, how staff add items, how staff add things to their wish list. And then I've gone into a bit of detail about settings, customized messages, and your next step after this is to set yourself up as a standard user. Now, what I'll do now is I'm going to send you an email with everything I've kind of talked about so that you can go through it in your own time. And after this session, I mean, before we leave each other now, I'd like to kind of try and get another conference call or telephone call or webinar in the diary for a time period that suits you, so that we can then keep these regular catch-ups so we get you up and running as quickly as possible. But I've realised, there's not been that many questions. So have you got any questions for now?
No.
But quick one from me, Daniel. I noticed it on the background when you were doing it, but in terms of data and just the policy we've got an overzealous information governance team, and it's just about, have you got any sort of documents you send us about the data security and GDPR, that kind of thing at all?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a one-pager for your IT guys. And this gives them all the information that they need to satisfy themselves that we are GDPR compliant, but also beyond that, we've got ISO accredited for data protection and all that sort of thing. So I'll make sure that goes into the email that I send after this session.
Excellent. No other questions from me. Thank you.
Okay. What about things like liability? If we're transferring stuff and it falls apart or
yeah, great.
blows up or whatever?
So that's a great question. So you've hit the nail on the head there, right? There's two levels of liability here. For internal stuff, there's a kind of duty of care rather than a liability. So you've got to make sure that staff are behaving themselves and they're adding assets that are fit for reuse, and you can control staff behaviour through those notifications. You can tell them, this is the rules of the system. Don't put stuff on that's been broken or all that sort of thing. There's also some checks and measures within the system whereby, like, for example, if you try to add electrical items, it'll say, has it had a PAT test? Or if you add an item from a hospital ward, for example, it'll say, has it been decontaminated? So there's lots of little checks and measures to make sure that internal trades happen effectively. But the real risk goes when you start to deal with external bodies,
Absolutely, yeah.
So when you talk about trades outside the organisation, there's a thing. There's a legal agreement, what we call a transfer of ownership form, and when you're ready, what I'd say to you first of all is, when you first launch this, you want to keep it internal only to start with. So it's only internal. So there's no one external. You can't trade externally. That's my recommendation, really. Don't trade externally straight away. And what you'll see here is when you're logged in as an administrator, there's a thing called a third-party agreement, which is a transfer of ownership form. And this is, let this load in a second. This is the legal agreement which any third party needs to agree to when they claim an asset off yourselves. Now, you'll notice that on, I think it's about action 3 or 4 on this action plan. There we go, action 4. Third party trades legal agreement. The legal agreement can be found in admin, customized messages, legal, and that needs to be sent to your legal team to check over, make sure that it's fit for your use. Yeah. So this is our template. Your legal team can adjust this template, add in their own clauses, or rip it up and start again. And this legal then applies to any sort of external trades that happen. And just let me show you what that looks like. So I'll find an external one again. Let's pick someone new for a change. Let's do some seating. So again, Sheffield Healthcare. So I'll log in, claim this item. So here, you'll notice that if I want to claim this item, I've got to agree to these terms, yeah? And these terms have been approved by the legal team at Sheffield Health and Social Care.
Right.
And it looks like, I can't tell just by skimming it, but it looks like they've used our basis and then added some of their own. Here we go. That's not our terminology, you see. They've added some of their own content. So that needs to be agreed to if I was to claim these seats. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, no, that's great. Cheers.
And just to give you some, what's the word I'm looking for? Some confidence. On this system, we've got over 20% of the NHS now. And we've also got organisations like the Probation Service, HMRC, Ministry of Justice. These real risk-averse organisations are using that legal agreement to redistribute their assets into the community, basically.
Thank you.
So I know there's a lot of take in there. As I said, I'm going to send you an email after this, which kind of summarises what we've talked about. But what I try to do now is, and I know you're really busy people, and I know everyone's got. This is only one tiny thing on everybody's agenda. I know that as well. but I like to try and pin you down to the next meeting so that we'll just keep that plate spinning, you know. So, is that? Do you think that's doable now, or should I do it over email? Or
I'm happy to arrange something
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
It's better to do it now than
yeah, great.
do it later.
Should we head for 2 weeks' time, or a week, or what sort of?
2 weeks, let's have a look. 2 weeks is probably good, similar time for me. Actually, depending whether I go to that meeting or not. 1 second, sorry. The Monday might be better for me, which is the 22nd at 4 o'clock. I don't know if anyone else has got. I've got a meeting we can move around, but
I can do 4 o'clock on the 22nd.
Yeah, that's good for me. Yeah.
Excellent.
me and Bob have got a meeting, but we can move that around. So I'll just move that to 3:30 now, Rob.
Great. So I'll put this in it. I'll put this in right in the diary, and I'll invite you all. And what I'll do is I'll put it on a repeating bi-monthly at the moment, but we can edit that at to your leisure, you know.
Yeah, that's great.
Any questions? Anything that wasn't clear?
No, that was great. Thank you, Daniel.
Great. Well, look, I really appreciate the business, and you know, I'm really looking forward to helping you solve this problem, and hopefully, you know, in 12 months' time, this is my aim is to get you onto the leaderboard. We've got like top 10. We've got top 10 performers on the leaderboard, which, you know, this is my aim to get my new customers into these top 10 performers. Whether it's savings per month, carbon saved, total members, these are kind of the metrics that we track. We track like to make sure that we're like sort of keeping an eye on what everyone's doing. So I'll hopefully get you in one of these top 10 leagues, hopefully. You've got Cheshire World Partnership there. That's your sort of nearest competition, if you like.
Yeah, we'd like to beat them.
Brilliant. Well, I really appreciate your time, and I'll send you this diary invite and the email. Any questions in the meantime, obviously just get in touch.
Okay. Cheers, Daniel.
Thanks.
Thank you. See you later.
Yeah, thanks very much, Daniel. Speak again soon. Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers. Thanks. Bye.